To ask the question, then I come in.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome and thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Research Spotlight. So, this is the show where we get to interact with researchers across the globe. My name is Tisha, and today I have the amazing pleasure of speaking to Professor Emmanuel Otoo. So, Prof. Otoo is a chief research scientist at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Crop Research Institute, Kumasi, Ghana. So good to have you here, Prof.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much because I know you've had a very long day traveling all the way to Togo, coming back to Accra, and then to Kumasi. And it's been a very, very difficult journey, but you have still been able to make time for this. And thank you so much for that. I really appreciate.
Thanks for your patience too.
Yeah. Okay, so Prof, we want to start with your background. So who is Professor Emmanuel Otoo? We want to know a little bit more about you.
So, thank you very much. You did the intro very well. I'm a chief research scientist of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Crop Research Institute. And the chief research scientist is actually an equivalent of a full professor. So I've been a chief research scientist for the past 3 years, and I'm a plant breeder by profession, and I'm basically assigned to the research and development of yams, what we will call the Dioscorea species. So for the past 21 years, I've been working on yams, and incidentally, I led a team that released new varieties of yam in Ghana, the first of its kind. And we've done that twice. So we have 3 of the white yam. We call them CRI Puna, Mancro Puna, and then CRI Kokopa. And we've also introduced 4 different varieties of the Discoria alata, which we call the water yam. So that has been my background. But if I should go back a little bit, I'm a product of Ghana National College, a proud patriot, and had my first and second degrees at the University of KNUST, where I was adequately prepared for the research work. So if you ask me who I am, I will tell you I'm a research scientist and I am a student of life.
Oh, wow. That's really great to know, Prof. But when you were growing up, I mean, did you have in mind that you wanted to be a researcher, or it was something that came along the way?
Incidentally, in fact, in my life, everything worked together for the good of who I am now. Because at the age of 11, I started playing drafts. And I played for 3 years. Nobody could beat me. And then from there, I got to the university where the national champion in chess introduced me to chess. And I became basically a national player. So I had that inquisitive mind. I wanted to understand the world. What is it all about? Who are we? Where are we coming from? And I remember I used to continually for some weeks kept on thinking who God is, who created him, where is he? What was he before he became a being? And all those things. And that was when I was about, if I can go back, maybe 10 thereabout. So I had a lot of inquisitive mind. And so I was actually more or less cut out as a teacher of mine said, I was cut out for research work. So I remember when I finished the university and I was looking for a job. Actually, I had an opportunity of teaching. He told me that that's not meant for me. You are supposed to be a research scientist. I think the best of your ability will be seen when you go practically to do the science instead of teaching others to go and do it. So he discouraged me from teaching and then encouraged me and also assisted me to get into the research institute. Yeah.
Wow, great. So, but why agric? I mean, what influence? Because research is broad, could do other things. So, what influenced your decision to specialize in plant
Yeah,
breeding?
yeah. I started laughing because I had a friend who used to say that agleki. You see, all that you are going to do is agleki. And after sixth form, I remember incidentally, I was a very good student, and I was very good in maths and biology. So it was a bit difficult for me choosing because at that time you had to choose biology or maths. And then I was told that biology was difficult, and that was why I chose biology. And
You like difficult stuff.
I just wanted to prove that it's not difficult. And it was a funny thing. So after the sixth form, a colleague of mine heard that I've gone to University of Cape Coast, and he was crazy. He traveled all the way to Cape Coast to come and ask me why, because there wasn't mobile phones at that time. And he felt that no, that shouldn't be it. But actually, it was an interesting encounter. I had a friend that I was playing the draft with, but he had completed the sixth form and wanted to go to the university. He got to university and he didn't go. He wanted to go to US. And so I was playing the draft with him one time, and he asked me that, so does it mean that the way you play the draft, is that the way you learn? Yes. No, then you should be a very good student. I was yes. Then said, so after sixth form, where are you going? Oh, I've filled forms for Legon. I've also filled some, and I was extremely good in biology and chemistry. So for some reason, I felt that I will be a biochemist. So I told him, and he started laughing. That no, you need a professional course, and that agric is a fantastic course, which his father knew and put him in Kivas for agric, but he didn't go, and he has regretted so much. So please, he begs me to look at that opportunity. And so, wow, agric, but that is something that I'm not thought of. So he kept on drumming it up into my ears. And so I got admission to UCC to do agric. And then at that time, I got tech also for biochemistry. And then I was to do sciences in Lagos. So what I did was that I told myself I'm going to UCC for 1 week just to see what they do in agric and then come back. Can you believe that the moment I entered the class,
That was
exam,
it.
exam,
UCC.
exam, the first day in class. So we had maths the first day, we did an exam. Chemistry the first day, we did an exam. Biology the first day, we did an exam. And incidentally, I did very well in all of them. So I was excited that, it's the courses that I like. That is what they are teaching here. So let me stay. And incidentally, I met some
I would have
wonderful.
run away.
No. In fact, it was so enjoyable. And actually, we had some wonderful teachers. Wonderful teachers. No, wonderful teachers. So it was so enjoyable being there. And also, I felt wanted, because all of them will come and say, Ima this, Ima that, Ima that. So I was excited. And then I
Superstar.
stayed on. Yeah. So I stayed on. And that was the story of agric. So then it became interesting the more because there were so many things to look at. Microbiology, animal side physiology, veterinary, and we do general agric in UCC. So you are exposed to almost everything. And so I saw opportunities all around me. And then I was just enjoying myself, only for me to one day see a beautiful topic on the notice board that a lecturer is looking for a student who will do that. And it was about solar, using solar energy to control diseases on the field. And that was exciting to me. Then I walked to the office of this lecturer. He was a half caste, but speaks Fanti very well. He half Fanti and half European. So I entered the class and said, "Who are you?" I said, "Otoo Emmanuel." He said, "Ah, you should relate to me." So wow. And actually, he had just come from FAO. And if you look at his
please, what's FAO?
Food and Agriculture Organization based in Italy. The headquarters is in Italy. So they control the world food. So the very best place you may like to go, that's where he came from. So I look at his car, I look at his lifestyle. Ah, Charlie, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. So I was moving deeper and deeper into the agriculture. I didn't know. And then incidentally, he was a wheat scientist. And I was fascinated the way he talks about the wheat, because by the simple definition, it's a plant growing in an unwanted area. And so I was amazed that this man just went to school to learn wheat and can just be talking to you, and he will be smiling, you see, and talking gently. So by the time he finishes, you understand the wheat. So I was like moving gradually towards that. But incidentally, as I mentioned, I had some wonderful teachers that I've never acknowledged them, but I think I should. One in the person of one Professor Paditete. In fact, this man taught me research methods. And the way he taught the thing, it was so good that when I did my master's, I could skip the research method class and still get A. And he also took me in yams, in crops in general. And the way he taught that section on yams, I was so fascinated about it. So I became so interested in breeding. And incidentally, my supervisor, who was Professor Carson, the late Professor Carson, and he was a wee scientist, he treated me like a son. So we sit and talk. And actually, the man decided to provide me lunch every day.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I just sit in his beautiful ride. We go out, and then I order anything that I want. Then he orders some drinks for me and a drink for himself, and we sit down and talk every day.
Wow.
So I mentioned to him that I also like the breeding component. I see that I like it. Then he said, it's fantastic combination. If I can do wheat and then do breeding, and that big firms outside there in US and all those things, these are the kind of guys they are looking for. So I've already gone too far and I agreed to come back. So that is how come I became a Greek research scientist.
Wow, this is really great. And whilst you were talking, I was thinking about the importance of mentorship and advice. You know, there are so many young people that don't know really which area to go. So, like your friend advised you, and then you also had great teachers and great mentors. You were able to find something that you have been so passionate about, and it has helped you in your career. So, great one. So I want to go through
if
some.
I will add just a little bit to the mentorship, because I've been a great beneficiary of that. One is Professor Tete, Professor Carson. Then, when I got into the research proper, I fortunately met a man, Dr. Otoo. my namesake. And as I said, Prof. Carson was the cool type. He will talk to you, advise you without even appearing to be advising or talking to you. And he has a way of making you repentant. You see? Because Jen smiling, and then he will ask you, so you think that what you did is very good, eh? And then you... But then I met directly opposite Prof. Carson, Dr. Otoo. He shouts for everybody to hear that he's around. And he's the one who could say that he loves fighting. So if he's advising me, people would think I've done something. Because you'll be shouting and that kind of thing. So I entered the place, he looked at me and said, look, young man, you look too cool to be cool. So what? I said, yes, you are so cool, but I don't believe that that's your character. You are a very bad boy who is pretending to be cool, but I can't believe that you are this cool. So what I would do is that you have to go and prepare notes on yams. As many exercise books that you want, I will give it to you. So those note 4 books, I produce about 6 full notes on yams. And incidentally, people got to know that that is what he has instructed me to do. And do you know what happened? They came to me that I shouldn't do, but he cannot do me anything. I said, no, he's my boss and he has instructed me to do that. So I did. And then he marked the notes. He marked the notes and afterwards called me that now that you have been able to make notes on yams, provide solutions for the problems you saw.
Wow.
So I went back, rethink the whole thing over, got the problems and got solutions for them. Then I brought it to him. He looked at them and started smiling. Then there was a call for proposals. I submitted 6 proposals. I won 6 proposals.
Wow.
So that was a marvelous mentorship. So as one person said that if I've reached far, it's because I stood on the shoulders of people, great men. Exactly. That is how lucky I was as a young man to meet somebody who was so passionate about his work, so dedicated to the work. And then he called Professor Carson to tell him, your small boy is doing wonders.
Wow.
And
this is great.
It was just fantastic. So I felt so happy in the work that I found doing. You see, because as a child, I loved using I love brain work. So I play a lot of these games, chess, this, that's me. I love doing that. So when I came and I was challenged, basically challenged, it was exciting. And then the man, after I've done all those things and he was happy, he opened one door and showed me some files. Say, have you seen those files? Say, yes, sir. Say, do you know what they contain? Say, no. Say, data. So what I had data, I said, it's over 20 years data. You are going to analyze and then bring it to me. Incidentally, I was analyzing data for money when I finished the university. So I would charge the lecturers, then analyze their data.
Yeah, data for them.
So it was a joy to actually be assigned that role. Incidentally, my wife was in Cape Coast and I have come to Kumasi. So I was alone. So I could go to the office at 5 and come back 11. So within 1 week, I analyzed all those data and prepared all the tables for him. And what actually happened was I was afraid because the institute is big. And then weekends I was there alone.
Yeah.
So I locked myself into the office and then I'll be working. And he incidentally will also come to the office at the weekend, which I didn't know. So he saw that there was somebody in the room, so he started knocking. And I also didn't want to open. I didn't know who. So finally I opened and said, why have you closed the door? So I wanted privacy. For what? The assignment you gave me. So Monday morning, all the data analyzed, tables prepared on his table. He looked at me and said, young man, you are going to coordinate YAM work. And you are the only person with masters in the team, and you will coordinate the work. So I was coordinating PhDs, so all of them PhDs. And then I was the young boy who just came with the masters, assigned the role to coordinate the fireworks.
That's the power of hard work. You were
Yeah,
assigned something and then you went all out to do
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm taking notes from your story, Prof, and I want to share some of the comments that we have here. Destiny
yeah.
Shepherds with Sheila Noy says, "Hi, Sister Tisha and Professor Otoo." Hi,
Wow.
Sister Sheila. And okay, and she says, "I'm loving the conversation already." Thank you, Sister Sheila. And Food Security Channel says, "Is that Prof Carson?" Yeah, I'm sure when you were talking, you're talking about your mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, you've
Then
already mentioned that it was Prof Carson.
yeah,
So Food
yeah,
Security Channel, yes, indeed, it was Prof Carson.
yeah.
Solomon Ajiman says, "Thanks for sharing your experiences with us. God bless you, Prof."
Thank you.
Okay, so Prof, now I want to ask you about your current research work.
Yeah.
What's the focus of your current research work, or what problems are your current research work solving?
Okay. Thank you very much. As I mentioned, my area is research and development of yams. So I try to look at the yam and see if there is any problem worthy of solving. And then once I solve that problem, I make that technology. But I work with a team. So once we are able to solve that problem, we disseminate the technology to the end users, mostly farmers. And as I mentioned earlier, through the dint of hard work, exactly by the 7th year at the institute, I won the National Best Agricultural Research Scientist. And incidentally, it was the President Kufuor's time. So the president, I had the honor of greeting him. And
Wow.
that was very, very, very humbling to me.
Hmm.
And so all these years I've been working on yam, but my specialty is breeding. So what we do is that just as in human beings, you would like to have a beautiful wife or a handsome husband, hoping that your children will be handsome or beautiful. Same with the job that I try to see if I can come out with super yam. Yam, we have male and female, which people often don't know. And a variety like Pona, which is the premium yam of Ghana, is the male. It's a male. So we try to see which of them do we cross with which one that the children will be better than the parents. So we come to the office, we get to do all the office work. Afterwards, we go to the field and do the crosses. After the crosses, we assess the children that will come out to see whether they are better than one of their parents or both of the parents or the average of the parents. And so once we identify any characteristic, and normally for any yam plant or any plant to be successful, it first has to be able to withstand the pressure of diseases. So we look at how good are they in tolerating the disease. Then we'll look at certain qualities. For example, for those who know yam and know the type called puna, it has a nice aroma, and the aroma makes you enjoy the yam. So we need to promote that particular yam. But the problem is that the pests and diseases also love puna for the same reason that we humans want it. So they also attack puna. So often puna doesn't store for long. Incidentally, that puna too, we have something called physiological maturity and economic maturity. The physiological maturity is the normal maturity that the plant will go through and it dies. See? So it will grow then ultimately die. Then we say it has reached the physiological maturity. But on a certain stage, economic maturity comes in because it is not grown to a fully matured, but it's eatable. So most of the pona you see in town, they have not allowed them to grow fully to their physiological maturity. They just grow them. When the canopy is well formed, they go and remove the tuber from under the plant and allow the plant to grow again. So the pona, normally when the plant grows and matures, it will form a coating, a protective coating on itself so that it will protect it against diseases. But because it did not mature fully, it doesn't have the protective covering. That's why pona in no time is going bad. So we try to combine it with a variety like dente. And dente, you cannot harvest dente twice as you do for pona. We call it milking or pricking, either pricking or milking. And for those varieties that you are able to harvest twice, we call them the early maturing ones. And the ones that you cannot harvest twice, they have to go the full term. They are the late maturing type. And a late maturing type like dente, that one can store for a very long time. So what we do is that we try to cross them to see if we get children who will be as sweet as pona and also have the ability to be stored longer than like dente. And that brings to mind, I was told that Shakespeare, with all his wisdom, was not good looking. So one day he was called and told that they've seen a very beautiful woman, but who is not so bright. So they wanted him to marry her so that the children will be beautiful and bright like her. And then he asked them whether the children, what if the children take his ugliness and then the elements of the wife? So that is what we do. So sometimes after crossing, you realize that some of the children that will come, they are terrible.
They took only the bad sides.
Exactly. So that is what we do. So this is what we've been doing in the past. Now we have better tools. You see, we have better tools because science is improving every day.
Yeah.
So we don't need to wait for the plant to even mature fully before we can see what we want to see. But even in its infant stage, we can tell how they will be when they grow up. And then, for example, we know that, you see, when you take one maize seed, if you plant it, it gives you about 600 seeds from that one seed. If you take yam, one, you can only get a maximum of 6. So we say that the multiplication ratio of most of the cereals is very high, but the multiplication ratio of yam is very low because you can get just 1 to 6. So we started looking at it. How can we improve it? So we brought a system called the mini set, where that one, you cut the yam into smaller pieces, small pieces, but you leave a covering on them and they can all sprout. So at least from one tuber, you can get 40. We realized that that is not good enough. So we use the vine, what we will call the thread or the leaves of the plant of yam. Then we plant that one too. And out of that, we saw that we can push the multiplication ratio from 1:6, 1:40 to 1:240.
Wow.
Then we decided that we can even do better. Now we grow the yams not in the soil, but in the nutrient solution. Then we pick the yam like we are picking pepper.
Wow.
So that system is known as aeroponics. It's aeroponics when we have the solution there, but the plants are not touching the solution. The roots are not touching, but you have a system of spraying the nutrients onto the root. Then you are talking of aeroponics. But when you allow the roots to go and stand in the nutrients, then that is hydroponics.
Wow.
Then we've even gone further than that. So we can now go to as far as 1:1,000. So that if somebody wants to grow yam and decides that I want to make it big and you have a very good variety, from one, we can generate so many pieces for you.
Thousands.
So this
Wow.
is what we've been doing.
Wow.
And then, okay. And then, as part of my duties, I also lecture the graduate school. So I teach them the research methods in a bit of biometry. So basically, this is what we've been doing.
Wow, this is great. So if I understand very well what you were explaining, it means that it's a way of preventing hunger in the future. Because if planting one yam can give us thousands, then I think it's great.
Fantastic. You got it right. You got it
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So, Prof, how do you share or how do you communicate your research findings with the public? Because we know with most of the farmers we have in Ghana, most of them are not, they don't have like, the level. So how do they get to understand that, okay, I can do this and get this?
Incidentally, we work in a team. You know, the Ministry of Agric, they have the extension unit. Their job is to extend whatever technology we develop. And so we work in tandem with them to disseminate the technologies. That's one way of doing it. But incidentally, for the past about 15 years, there is a concept that there should be a participatory research. What it means is that anybody who has something to do with the research, you bring him in, from those who are going to eat, to those who are going to sell. So what we do is that if, for example, we have very good varieties that are good, at the time of planting, we'll bring in extension agents and the farmers and some marketing people, some transporters of the yam. They all come. And then at the planting time, together, we see the planting. So we know that, oh, this is the way it was planted. Nothing fishy. Then when they have formed the full canopy, we bring them back. And at that point, we allow them to select the material that is there based on any criteria that is of interest to them. So when they do, and for example, when they come and see cracks in the ground, it means that the yam is bulking heavily, and that is why it's breaking the soil. So any crack in the soil to them is an indication of a good yam. Yes. So they will select based on the leaf structure, the diseases, how they are tolerating the diseases, the cracks on the ground, and they will select based on that. We will note that. Then at harvest, they will come. We will go and harvest, and then let them see the tuber proper and compare it with their selection they did earlier. Some may abandon their choices earlier, and some may, and it's so interesting. And believe you me, at certain times the yam will be boiled and it will be flowing. So if you want it fufu, you have it. If you want it ampesi, you have it. So it's exciting time. It's exciting time. So that's what we do. And sometimes we do open days. Open day is a day dedicated to showcasing all the research that we have done, the results that we've obtained. So normally we bring in, it's open to the public, and everybody will come and look at some of them and then ask questions. And if they want it, they will place orders and then we'll give it to them. So that is another way. And also we go to radio stations talking about what we've been able to do on TV stations. And presently the Institute has a TV station. So we now even do our own recording and all that, and then disseminate them. And as to the language, you shouldn't worry. We, as part of our training, we are trained how to communicate with them. And then the extension agents are trained how to also communicate with them. And because they live with the farmers, they have the confidence of the farmers. So the farmers trust them that if they are telling them something, then it is good. So they have a way of communicating to them. So it's a very big teamwork. And normally when we are doing our work, we'll have every discipline that is necessary. You could be an entomologist, and that will be the one looking at the insects. Pathologists will be looking at the diseases. The breeder will be looking at the crosses. A biotechnician will be thinking of how to multiply them. And a social scientist will be there thinking about what are the repercussions of adopting this variety or this technology. So they will talk to the farmers. They have something they do, ex ante and then post ante adoption studies. So the ex ante, before they introduce the technology, they will find out from the users what and what will you like. If somebody gives you something like this, will you like it? And that's able to extract the information that is very necessary, that no, we should be careful. The farmers are saying that they don't want very big yam. So that should be noted. Then afterwards, they do the post-ante where they go and find out that after developing the technology and then giving it to the farmers, how are they using it? Are they having any challenges? And that will inform what we do subsequently. So that is basically, and then you can also count on the fact that we will have 5 sheets. 5 sheets is describing everything about the technology. Describing everything about the technology, and then that will go with it. And we have a body that is mandated by the government to verify our claims. So if we say that this variety is like this, is like this, like that, they will find out whether it's true. Yes, they will come and then study the system and see whether it's true or not. And then ultimately, if they are satisfied that all our claims are true, then they will give recommendation to the Minister of Agri to sign and permit us to distribute the material in the system.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, but the beauty of it is that we, as a friend of mine said, we go to the bush, and from the bush we go to the airport. We work with a lot of international organizations, and we have collaborators all over the world. So, uh, if you like traveling, try Agric.
I should try a great then because I love to travel. Yeah. So, Prof, what are some of the challenges that you have faced?
The major challenge I have faced, which I will talk about, it's not technical. It's not technical. It's about our attitude. You see, our attitude, and I want to talk about because for a young person coming, that may discourage them. We talk too much, you see, and then we say what we have not seen. You see, and so most often you hear all sort of stories about people. If you inquire just a little bit about it, that you want to delve deeper into it, you realize that they don't have anything else to tell you, and they don't even think that they owe you any apology. You see, it's not good. It's in every aspect of our life, and it's so terrible. So we have to look at that. But apart from that, the major challenge I would say I've been a lucky scientist, if there is that, because it's like I because I appreciate the whole thing. You see, I always tell people that okay, we as a scientist, you need to. The government doesn't have a lot of money to give you. Even if he has a lot of money, you have to tell him why he should give you. And nobody wants a counterfeit coin. You see the
No,
point?
it's original.
Original. So the idea, I tell people that so the truth must prevail. You see, and the truth, we are spirit beings. So if I'm lying to you, you know, you have some inkling in there that's Prof. Here, those my wisdom. It you will be wondering whether I'm telling you the truth or not. So if you are going to collect funds from anybody to come and do the work, and then you lie, you see, the nicest thing he can do is to write you a beautiful letter that we had several proposals, so we couldn't take yours. You see the point?
Yeah.
So I always tell them that put yourself in the position of the donor. If somebody comes to you and tell you the story you are telling the donor, will you buy it? So once you get that, and uh, I'm a believer too. I believe in God. I believe in God, and I believe in His Son and the salvation He gives us. And I believe that, as one reggae musician said, life is like a mirror reflecting what you do. If you look at it smiling, it will smile right back at you. If you look at it with wickedness, wickedness will be smiling at you. You see the point?
Yeah.
So I believe in that. So I believe that I shouldn't go to bed thinking evil about anybody. I shouldn't go to bed having heavy heart about anybody. And so that helped me a lot. Because if I write a proposal and it was not taken, to me, it means that I did something wrong.
Wrong. Yeah.
Or genuinely, the person doesn't have interest in supporting my work. You see. So I bear no grudge. And that makes it exciting because once you write me that, oh, the proposal you brought was not good enough, I write back, please, please, can you teach me so that I will be better?
Wow.
You see? And as I mentioned that I'm a student of life, So I have the student attitude. I don't claim to know everything, but I'm ready to learn everything. And as someone has said, who is a professor? A professor is the one who changes his mind on the face of convincing evidence. You see? So if I believe strongly that, oh, I can eat any food and I'm okay, then there's an evidence that you can't eat everything and be okay. If you're a professor, you should accept that.
Accept it, yeah.
Exactly. So I enjoy my work so much because I allow my students, my colleagues, my beneficiaries to share ideas. And it's always exciting when you hear them talking. And what I love most is you need to be in the field when we are working. They have jokes, they have this, they have this. No, it's so fantastic. And as human beings, we have a saying that human beings are sweet, but we don't eat their meat. It's definitely true. So I get to interact with a lot of people, feel a lot of warmth, enjoy my life, and also enjoy the work that I'm doing.
You too.
But then the serious challenge has always been the funding. The funding, because our governments are not powerful financially. So you always have to go to a donor, and the donor has his own vision. Yeah, so often not what you want to do that they want to do. And you may have to adjust your things left, right. But as a researcher, you can always find a way out. Yeah.
I think you've kind of answered my next question, because I was going to ask about your opinion on the current state of research work in Ghana. But I think you already touched on the finance part. So if there's any other thing that you'd like to talk about,
but
let
me tell you,
the current state of research in Ghana.
We are doing very well. For example, my institute, our leadership in West Africa did something wonderful. The government, and I will praise them for that. They went to an ECOWAS meeting and decided that research is important to all of us, but we don't have money to do all the research, because you have to research on fish, cassava, maize, everything. So why don't we assign commodities to institutions based on their competitive advantage? So when they did that, they gave Nigeria fish, and Nigeria are very powerful in terms of fish farming, catfish farming. Then they gave Ghana the roots and tubers, that is yam, cassava, sweet potato, cocoyam, fafra potato. And they gave Senegal the dry cereals, and Burkina mangoes, Cote d'Ivoire plantain. And I'm telling you, it has brought a serious regional collaboration and linkage. Previously, nobody speaks French, Ghana. But now, as a necessity, you have to, because you have to be. I'm coming from a French-speaking country. For the past 3 weeks, I've been moving from one to the other, all French-speaking countries. And you have to communicate.
Yeah.
And then we become a close-knit society. So along the sub-region, solid collaboration. And they did something called National Center of Specialization. So that is where they give you a particular crop to investigate. Then when you have done everything right. They look at the infrastructure. They look at the manpower that you have. They look at the type of research that you are doing. Is it cutting across the sub-region and all that? If you do it so well, you become a regional center of excellence. And I'm telling you, our government went for serious loans, $60 million for 10 years for us to develop the root and tubers for the whole sub-region. And Ghana, I am proud to say, reached the center of excellence because some of our laboratories are accredited laboratories. Our management system are compliant with ISO 9001. So we brought in experts to come and look at the system we have and tell us how best we can improve upon it. So for example, those days, if you want to get one CD from the institute, it takes 14 steps. 14 steps before you can get the CD. Now they came and then look at the system and cut it down. Now by the 5th step, you are getting your money. And so efficiency, exactly, efficiency, and as well as a lot of infrastructure. And I should tell you that my institute, Crop Research Institute, has been so excellent over the years that Canada, the Governor General of Canada, came to Crop Research Institute and gave us gold medal for excellence in research.
Wow.
And Kufuor gave us gold medal for excellence in research. Yes. And at a point in time, we had over 60 PhDs. And the staff strength was about 800 and something. So that is the strength that we had in depth. So that is where I belong. And that is the kind of, so you can appreciate it that as an institution, we look out for excellence. And then we've made a name. So people who are excellent are drawn to us. You see? So, and then we collaborate a lot with the universities in the country, outside the country, and gradually we've established a graduate school for agriculture. So that kind of environment. So seriously, research in Ghana is seeing better days and is going to see better days ahead.
Wow. Well, that's great to know. And let's go to the comments again. Food Security Channel says, fellow coli. Coli?
Agricoli.
Coli. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he did agree.
Yeah. Food Security Channel. Okay, and Albert also Kwatin says, Tisha, please tell Prof Otoo that we can't really see his face. Yeah, Prof. No, I think the camera, the position of the camera went a little bit. Yeah,
Is
it's
that
better.
okay for him?
Yes,
Hey,
perfect.
this guy wants to see my chin, not my chin.
Albert, I hope you can now see Prof's face.
Hey, another okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Prof. So, Prof, we know that the future of every country or every nation is in the hands of the youth. And with the great work that you and your team are doing, what do you think we can do to make research work attractive to the younger generation so that they will come and continue when you have gone on retirement and you are resting?
Yes.
Come and take over.
That would be my greatest joy to see better people than us handling the agricultural sector, because you are nobody if you cannot feed yourself. You are nobody. So if you think that you can buy all the nice clothes and all those things, You can do everything, build all the skyscrapers. But if you have to depend on somebody for your food, that is dangerous.
Yeah.
And as a friend of mine said, the lecturer told them that look at the position of Canada and look at US. Canada does not need to do research because US can feed them over and over and over and again. But for the reason of sovereignty's sake, sovereignty, one day somebody will come and say, Canada, we want all your women down in US. If you don't bring them, no food. So for sovereignty's sake, we need to have the capacity to build our systems. And again, you see, I'm a student of one Dr. Sebi, who is a traditionalist, herbalist. Unfortunately, he's late. And he said that look at our dentition. You see, our dentition clearly shows that we are vegetarians. But we import a lot of meat, we import all sorts of things and diseases into our system. So if all the crops that are adapted here, they are here for us. So they are adapted and our body knows it. So the moment you eat yam, your body knows the composition of yam, how it should be broken down and all sorts of things. But if you bring strange food to your body will have to learn before it can make good use of it. So it is very essential that you have a core group of people who are knowledgeable in the ability to basically talk to the plants and translate it for you to eat. So for the young ones, I see a lot of opportunities. It's big. It's big. You see, sometimes the public work and government work just limit us, you see. I always tell my friends that government work guarantees you poverty. But then if you go on your own, imagine that you set up something small, just multiply the yams and sell. There's no limit as to how much you can get. And you can sell it across the sub-region. You see the point?
Yeah.
You can go into fish farming. You know that the fish is yours. So you feed it well. You change the water. You keep the place clean. In no time, 4 months, you are selling fishes. So there are so many opportunities. And sometimes I wonder, of course, it's peer pressure, which is understandable. Because wherever two or more people meet, they would like to establish some hierarchy.
Who is who?
One would like to say it's me that has the big head and the rest have small heads. And somebody says my legs are bigger than yours. So it's good that friends may put pressure on us that, oh, this is good, that kind of thing. Me, I buy my bread for more. You are still buying from the street. You see that? But you should understand what you want for yourself. And the greatest joy you can have, to me, is being able to feed yourself, having a place to sleep, and knowing that you don't owe anybody anything. All these are guaranteed if, as a young boy, you start doing agri. And you are the determinant of most of the things. Sometimes we say that the rain is not reliable. But if the rain is not reliable, can't you dig a borehole to at least cater for your crops? You see the point? And so that dependency syndrome must go. It must give way to people who are serious. And you, the women, too, must learn to put pressure on the guys. Don't tell them agric. Because agric will feed you, will make you rich, and it's a fantastic. No, can you believe that that is the job God gave us on creation?
Yeah.
You see, and the joy of seeing your plant growing. Just put the seed there. Within 3 days, you see the ground cracking. The next day you come, the seed is coming, and then it becomes a plant. What a joy! You see, and so it is such a fulfilling job. It's such a fulfilling job. We are fanciful, so we want to see that. Oh, what but tie? Yeah, I'm in suit, I'm in tie, and that. But when we come from the bush, we wear the suit. You see that? We have the means to buy the suit from the bush. So it's such a wonderful, wonderful thing. So for the young ones, please, there are so many areas in agric. You can be beekeeping, fish, maize, cassava. It is unthinkable the things that you can do. And please don't look at what your friends are saying. Just dedicate yourself to it. Give them 5 years. They will start saluting you. Give them 5 years because and learn the art of managing. You see, you may not be the one going to put the seed in the ground. You have laborers who will be planting for you, but you should learn the trade so that you know when they put it wrongly. You see the point? And then
Yeah.
you supervise them. In the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. So please, 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 the young ones. Some can go into planting itself, some can go into processing it, and some can go into marketing it. Even just storing for it to be marketed later. That could be somebody's expertise. So it's a vast area that it can never go. Who doesn't eat? And who would it eat?
It's basic. Everyone has to eat. Yeah.
So it's such a fantastic job, such a fantastic job that the young ones should never be deceived. In fact, that should have been their first choice. That should have been their first choice. That should have been their first choice. Just create something for yourself. Create, create, and believe you me, it's good. It's good because for the 3 weeks that I'm moving around, people were buying my food for me. I didn't buy. I didn't buy food for 3 weeks, and that's how nice it is. Any farmer that you work with, before you are aware, he's already loading your car. So it's such a wonderful business to do. And don't worry about your clothes. Who goes to the doctor goes to the theater with their is it apron or whatever.
Yeah.
When they finish, they remove it. They don't walk in town with them.
Yeah.
The fitter goes under the car with his dirty clothes. When he finishes, who knows that is a fitter? So you can do your agric, and if that is for you, you think is demeaning. Wait till you get one nice fruit coming from your own field. You will learn that agric is sweet.
Indeed.
And
Well, it's
look
been
at
a great evening, Prof. Thank you for sharing your journey, what you do with us, and also for advising us. I have this question. The research spotlight has been here for like 8 months, and we've had about 30 young researchers coming here to share their journey. And most of them are our brains who are in the diaspora.
Yeah.
So what would be your message to such people, like or what can we do to encourage them to come back home? I don't know if I should say to give back or to also support with what they have learned outside.
The most wicked thing they can do is not to come. Because look at all the nations that have developed. Their people went out deliberately to look for knowledge and bring back home to develop themselves. Who respects you where you are? You see, who respects? And the most damaging thing you can do to somebody who is a researcher or anybody for that matter is to tell him that his ideas doesn't matter. And that's exactly how they are treated. They are always doubting their capability, even if they prove over and over again that they are capable. They will deliberately look down on you. And I remember I went to a conference in China, and I said something on the conference grounds, which people were very happy about. Then a Chinese guy came to me and said, our government gave your government some money. And I said, no, that one, I wasn't part of it. It was my government. So you believe that once his government has given something to my government, I can never be better than him. So wherever you are, I'm happy that they are excelling, because wherever they go, they excel. I know that they excel wherever they go, because the culture there allow for excellence, hard work, and then they are supervised. So they give it their all, and the facilities are there, so they can come up with brilliant ideas. So I tell them that I challenge them to transfer that knowledge back home. Here is the challenge, not there.
Yeah, Prof, I understand. So, but what can our government also do so that when they are coming back, they're also not happy? Because sometimes some of them want to come, but they're also thinking about if they are going to be accepted or if they are going to get it, not like easy, but if, I mean, I don't know how to put it. If the system,
Understand it?
if the
System
system
will
is,
accept them. You see, they are in a unique position. They are in a unique position because most of them have capital. So they can go solo. You see, they can go solo to achieve most of their dreams. And then because of the exposure they have obtained, their worldview has been broadened. So it's pathetic if they can't see what they can do. You see the point? If they can't see what they can do, that is pathetic. Because with all the exposure, with all the facilities at your disposal, you should be able to model everything that is on earth and come back, find partnerships. I know, I'm not naive to the fact that many people like to suck you. See, I'm not naive. I understand. Understand it. Even we here, they want to suck us. So you that we think you are holding dollars. So find partners, and you can easily, for example, for the researchers, you are a researcher somewhere. Whatever idea you have, you know that it should be adapted to our system before we can use it. So why don't you find collaborator in your area? find a collaborator in your area, and then start working with him. You start small. And I just had a very wonderful encounter with a very wonderful personality who told me that, you see, the problem with us is that we fail to share. We fail to share. We want to collect all the profits and then suck the rest. But if you entered into a partnership with him, you see the point. He has no local knowledge and local contacts. So buy that. Buy that local knowledge and contacts. 20%. Bring your capital. And let's start something. Together, we'll get there. And it has been proven over and over again. All these nations that have been successful. Because sometimes you are within the environment you are. You have reached saturation point. You can't break further. A lot of inertia. So, let's do this. If you do this, last time one of my friends did that, and then it didn't work well, and then this, that. So he's already blocked. So you coming, you are beyond that. You see, so you can break it down, and so you are in a very unique position to come and better Ghana. And I'm saying that I was in Senegal. I realized that they are doing some roads, and I'm told that it's the Chinese. When they finish, they put toll booths there, automated, so the money you put in goes directly to them.
Wow.
And my concern was that our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, can't you organize yourselves? Make a stronger case. Enter into serious contracts with our government. Come and make the roads and put your toll booth there. Every almost like a year, 500 a year. No, 500 is low. About 200 kilometers toll booths in Senegal. You see the point? So all the roads in the country can be developed from money from such ventures. But I know that our individuals who compose our government can mess you up. So I want you to have a solid grouping and face them at AU level. You see, because Ghana cannot take your money. Ghana is too small to take all the money you bring. You need the whole of Africa. So tackle it at that level. ECOWAS, AU, that kind of level. So just as they go out and borrow from all sort of colors and then they pay, they should also pay your money. So serious agreement. And that will bring in a lot of capital. And then you will bring in a lot of knowledge that you can impact on the youth who are very willing to learn. I'm telling you, they are very willing to learn. I did a very simple exercise. I had a group of students who came for 1 year. When they came, I gave them the richest man in Babylon, that they should go and summarize it and tell me how they are going to better their lives. I have their script there. When they brought it, I opened my mouth. I was shocked. Brilliance. Brilliance. And so when marking, what I did was, if you give 15 points, I mark it 15. If it's true, everything is over the 15 that you wrote. So if you had 15 points, if 13 is correct, it's 13 over 15. And I did that because I have a philosophy that life is just like a mountain. The mountain has many shapes and many routes to the top. We all don't stand at the same point. So if you start climbing to the top, some people reach somewhere and decide that they've arrived. Others will say, no, we've not arrived, we'll go further. So our path in life is different. Just as some people said that, incidentally, the exam that God gives to all of us, the questions are different. So we cannot assess your performance and mine and say that someone is better than somebody. Your question is different. Maybe if I got your question, I could have passed. You see the point?
Yeah.
So it brings to mind a very simple joke where somebody, these were church people. So when they got to heaven, they met John at the gate. And then John said that you have to answer one question before you. So he asked the first person, who was ordinary church member, who is the mother of Jesus? That's Mary. Then the next one, and the father of Jesus, Joseph. Then the priest, knowing all, went and they asked him, how many people did Jesus Christ feed with that bread? Also 5,000. Name them. Yes, GHANAIAN. And that is life. Life is not fair. Life is not fair. So we have different challenges, and we have to overcome our challenges in life. And God created us in His image, and He calls into being. So we have to challenge ourselves to call into being things that do not exist.
Wow.
So I plead with all my brothers and sisters. I don't pretend to know it all, and I don't think I know. I'm still learning. But what I can share with you is that I've seen it over and over again. God Himself said that if Babylon, I don't disturb them, they will come to me. They were building the tower to go there, and He had to change their language. With commitment, hard work, we can turn our situation around. We can turn our situation around. So please, let's get together. Let's all roll our sleeves, contribute significantly by way of wisdom, by way of effort. And let's know that, in fact, most people will wish to be better so that they don't cheat. See? When you cheat, afterwards, you sit down quietly on your quiet time. You know that you are bad. Nobody knows. Nobody saw you, but you know yourself that you are bad.
Conscience.
Conscience talking to you. So everybody wants to be good. Given the small opportunity, you'll be a good man or a woman. So let's trust ourselves, not blindly, and be determined to come back. Be determined to come back. I was sharing this week with some colleagues where they said that the scientists were asking for better conditions of service. And the answer they provided was that they have to bond them. You see, take the people and bond them. And I told them that is retrogressive. You see, the moment you bond him and give him bad conditions, you have a band of demotivated people working. What will come out of it? Nothing. The next generation will never see any good thing in those who went ahead of them. So they will also be demotivated. But tell them that, okay, I understand your problem. Your conditions are not good. As a country, our situation is also not good. we can't do as you are suggesting. Can you give us 5 years to meet you halfway? He's a motivated man. And there's no limit as to what a motivated man can do. So these are my thoughts.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. It's been an insightful evening, and I'm sure viewers have also enjoyed themselves. So before we go, if there are any final words to our viewers, because Prof is so loaded. We want to draw a lot out of him before he goes. So if there's any other thing that Prof you would want to bless us with before you go, please, the floor is yours again.
What I would say is that all chains shall be broken. All chains shall be broken. And victory is going to be ours again and again.
Amen.
And so let us rule ourselves. Let us believe. Let us believe that we can do it. Let us believe and make the effort. Because nobody anywhere is going to feed you and your people. You see? Nobody is going to do that. It behoves on us, especially we who has been educated, because the truth of the matter is that our parents who didn't go to school even thought that you are going to go to school and become a better person.
Exactly.
So you are the aspirations of your society. Your society is counting on you to come and change it. So if you get food to eat and go and sit somewhere and give all reasons why you shouldn't come and change your society, sorry, you had a wrong education. So please, let's do it.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Prof. I know it was a very long day, but you still made time, and we spent close to an hour and a half. And
wow.
Yeah, I really appreciate all the great things that you have shared with us. Thank you so much. So this brings us to the end of this year's Research Spotlight series. And I want to thank you so much and thank also viewers. And I wish you all Merry Christmas in advance and Happy Holidays. May 2022 bring to all of us everything that we wish for ourselves and even more. And may the Lord keep us all. Thank you all.
Amen. Amen.
Stay blessed. Okay, so bye-bye.
Bye.